Hey everybody, Whitney here with Darcy in the back. We are headed to the zoo today. John is out garage sailing because it's a Saturday morning, and that's what happens when it is warm weather. But we have been neglecting to give an update, but that is not entirely our fault because we haven't had anything to update on. We are at the point of the licensing process where there is a lot of waiting. Which is actually a good thing overall, because we are waiting because there are so many other foster families that are getting licensed and finishing up all of their training and paperwork and home study all at the same time. So in the grand scheme of things, it's a really good thing. But once we finished training, we were kind of doing some odds and ends paperwork. We had a checklist that was provided to us from our agency, and basically it made it really, really simple to gather all the documents, everything from going to the doctor and getting a checkup and having them sign off that we are healthy and able to be foster parents, as well as dog licenses for our county, dog vaccination records. We had to have the fire department come out and do a quick safety check. So those are kind of like some things that we had done. We turned everything in, and the reason why ours took a little bit longer than most, because we were really ahead of it. But one thing, and it's good that they're this thorough, but at the same time there's a human element where it's a little bit ridiculous. But if you have been to any mental health professional in 7 years is what our agency was looking for, that mental health professional needs to sign off on your ability to parent, be a foster parent, and that's great. But we had a situation where it was one visit literally 7 years ago, and we were trying to track down, we didn't even remember who the office was, and then it was paperwork back and forth and trying to get them to sign off based on old records. But the reason why we're doing this video today is because all that documentation did finally get returned. It did put us towards the back of this wave of foster families trying to get licensed. But we got all that done, and what our agency has done, so basically that means all of our home study paperwork is done. Now we just have to wait and get scheduled for someone to actually come out and do the home study at our home. And from what we've gathered, the home study is, I would say, 75% just getting to know us as people, and our family dynamic, more interviews, and 25% the actual home, and making sure that things are safe and ready for a child to come into the home. So we're finally at that part, but because every agency, it seems like, is very short-staffed when it comes to people qualified to do home studies, and a lot of people trying to become foster families, our agency put together a very, very long questionnaire, and we are to complete the questionnaire before we are scheduled for our home study. And what that will do is just allow I don't think they're called caseworkers, but the person who's going to come out to our house, really just clarifying our answers, not having to spend as much time writing down, interviewing, and stuff like that. So they're trying this process to see if they can get the backlog taken care of. But that's where we are. So we are finally getting to the home study process, and part of our situation, both John and I work full-time. What you doing back there, sweetie? Both John and I work full-time, so when we do accept a placement, the summers are going to be difficult for us. we are going to have to find, summer camps, and those tend to be expensive. We're going to do some research to see if there are any places that offer kind of like a discount for, people who have foster kids coming in. But, when it really boils down to it, the stipend that you get per month does not cover something like summer camp for 3 months. So what we had planned to do is, throughout the year, we would just kind of set aside a little bit of the stipend per month and then set it aside so that when summertime comes around, we have that ready and can use that, and we aren't going too far into the hole, as a family unit. We're still very stable and all that sort of thing. And that also is why we are taking in school-age children, just because daycare is incredibly expensive, and it's just not something that our family can do. So with that being said, we are coming up. It is already mid-April, which is crazy. It's mid-April, and the reality is that June, July, and August are right around the corner. And so what we've decided at this point is, we're going to continue to go through the licensing process. We wanted to get a placement, around this time, around April, have a child join our family, for a few months, then go into summer camp, and then, introduce them to the school in the fall if it was that long of a placement. But at this point, I think based on the timing of everything, we are going to go through the licensing process and then let them know that we probably won't be able to accept any placement calls until probably late July, early August. And that's just something that we're going to have to make that decision, once we get licensed, what our next steps are going to be. And, to top that off, I actually just started a new job. So we are just trying to get adjusted as, a 3-person family to new schedules, new demands, all that sort of stuff. So it might actually work out better that things have kind of slowed down a little bit, but it still is a little disappointing because we were really, really anxious and really trying to move forward as quickly as possible. But that's kind of our update. So we're sorry that we are terrible at updating these videos, but honestly, we didn't have a whole lot to report out on. Like I said, we kind of did our training, and then we were gathering paperwork, and that wasn't really fun to talk about. And we were really just waiting until this next step in the home study process. And once we get all that scheduled, we'll give you guys another update to let you know what's happening. And in the meantime, we've also been just finalizing the foster room. So I'll give you a quick sneak peek into what we have prepared for that. There's still a few things that we need to get into place, but I would say it's about 90% finished, which is really exciting. It looks like, a kid could just come on in and hopefully feel as comfortable as possible under the circumstances. So we'll give you a little bit of a preview about that. And if you have any questions, just, comment, and we will get back to you hopefully before our next video, because it might be a little bit longer until we get another video. All right, Darcy, you want to say bye? Are you gonna wave? Bye. All right, bye guys. Welcome to the foster kiddo room. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour through what we currently have set up and some improvements we're going to make. Just as a reminder, we are looking to accept placement calls for girls who are between the ages of 6 and 13. Realistically, I think the first time around we might go for the younger side, only because, any preteen kid, it's a tough age, and we want to kind of ease our way into that since we only have a 2-year-old. We haven't been through it yet. So we're looking at kind of, younger girls, but again, they have to be school age. So the trick to how I decorated the foster room is making it bright, colorful, welcoming, but not overly busy, so they feel like this is their space to, set up the way that they want. So I'll give you a little bit of a tour and tell you kind of the things that we're missing. So we have a sad excuse for a nightstand. So that is on our list to find at a garage sale, is a cube nightstand for extra storage. But you can see that the bedding is bright but not overly girly, because we wanted it to be still pretty neutral depending on, the kid. They might not like, flowers and princesses and all that kind of stuff. So we wanted to keep it kind of generic, but again, a little bit feminine, with the pink in there, but, just bright and colorful. And the bed is where I kind of put the most emphasis. But we got a great deal on the mattress and the bed frame on a liquidation site. And I think both of them together ended up only costing us, I want to say $50. And then I got the bedding on clearance at Target, and I went ahead and just picked up some pillows. There's a little teddy bear in case we get a younger kiddo. And then I think I splurged on this blanket at TJ Maxx, just because I feel like the bed for a foster kid is, where they can cuddle up and, be comfortable, feel safe. So I wanted it to be extra, extra comfortable. And I found a set of 3 of these printable signs on Etsy. So I have one that says "Good Morning Beautiful," one that has the feathers, and the most important one that I had been looking for was "You Are So Loved." It just so happened to match the bedding, which was really awesome. So we still need a nightstand. You can see the purple curtains, got that flower paper chandelier accent piece, which was a pain in the butt to put together, but it turned out really great. And then this little corner, hoping to get, some kind of like a beanbag type chair, something where they can curl up with a book. That's kind of what I'm waiting to find for that space. Then we have this nice IKEA desk. We had most of the pieces already from our last house. So we just actually had to purchase the legs to it and then a chair. And it currently has some things already stocked in there, but again, more space for them to have their stuff. There's some other things in there that I'll have to show on a different video, which is the important stuff that we were able to use the money that we raised with the reseller YouTube, supporters, but more on that later. So we have a cool little accent globe. These 3 pieces are intentional. So we have an empty notebook for them to either journal or draw, again, depending on the age. This is going to be filled with snacks. Think granola bars, trail mix, stuff so that they always feel like they, we're not withholding food, because that's something that, foster kids may experience is, they don't have access to a lot of good food. So always having something there for them so they feel secure in that. And then an empty picture frame that they can fill with either a picture of our family or their birth family, whatever they prefer. And then we have a huge closet in here, which needs some work, but this is going to act as the closet and the dresser. So we have a 2-drawer compartment thing and all of these wire stuff back in the corner. John has to put that together for shoes and extra hanger space. And I believe there's a couple of shelves. Actually, here, look, there's a picture. Yeah, so this is what it will look like. So we're going to put that in there. And then with those 2 compartments and a whole bunch of hangers, we think that might work. Like I said, we have to clean the top shelf. And then we also have to install the ceiling fan. So that is the room. More improvements later, and I think the next video we're gonna do is a shout out to the reseller YouTube community who you know, did an auction, and we were able to auction off some items to go towards a little foster nest egg, and we can, you know, we've been using that money to buy really, really important stuff that we're gonna need. So more to come on that later. Thank you for watching.